NBA preseason is a wrap, and I think this season might be the most anticipated with players returning from injury. I mean, you got rivalries renewed, you got up and coming teams, and let's not forget about that off-season drama. Like, who is the player that you are most rooting for to start the 2023 NBA season?
This will be no surprise. It's going to be Kawhi Leonard. Absolutely. He has not played in a whole season. And so I am looking forward to him coming back on the court, coming back to the league, showing everybody why he is a two-time NBA champion, two-time Finals MVP, two-time Defensive Player of the Year. It's almost as though I know that his injuries plague him. I think this can be the season that he changes the narrative if he can play games. I think people forget that he is injured as much when he's producing wins, especially if he can help lead the Los Angeles Clippers to their first conference series, Western Conference series. And I think that'll be something that he can do. Whether or not the Clippers end up top one in the conference, the top spot in the conference, whatever. Top spots don't get championships at the end of the day. If he can make sure that he leads them through to the playoffs and to the Western Conference Finals, I think the narrative can start to switch on him. He's not the only player that's injured, so I think this gives him the time, especially if you see what his new body looks like.
Yeah.
I'm like, so he appears physically ready for the game. Hopefully he's mentally ready for the game, and hopefully his body can withstand the brutal, impacts that the court has on our players, and that he can, sustain throughout the year healthy and lead the Clippers. So yes, Kawhi Leonard is somebody that I am totally rooting for because I want the narrative on his name to change.
I would like that too. But if he can, I think if he can play about somewhere around 70, 75 games, I think it's easy for that narrative to switch. But right now, I am rooting for James Wiseman. Yes. James Wiseman is a guy who only played 3 college games, was thrown into the fire with the Golden State Warriors. Now, if we remember, he was drafted in the 2020 NBA draft, number 2 overall with the likes of Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Isaac Okoro, and those guys. They're all playing pretty well in the NBA. James Wiseman had to sit. He only played 39 games in his 3-year career in the NBA. I just think we have not seen the best of James Wiseman. He just hasn't had the opportunity. As I mentioned, he only played 39 games in his young NBA career. And it's just unfair to him that they sat him the whole season when I think he was a little healthy at the end of the season. He had a DNP all last season. We're talking about a guy who has the biggest knock on his game when we're talking about his hands. They say that he can't catch the ball. Well, guess what? He's worked on that in the preseason. He's a solid big man, and he's an NBA champion.
Okay. He is an NBA champion, and you know what? Congratulations, Wiseman. But I think the time is right for him. Considering the situation kind of warrants an opportunity for him to play more minutes, I think. So, when we're talking about the Warriors perhaps transitioning into utilizing their younger players more, giving them more minutes this season, they need to, because these other teams and their young stars getting it in, right? So I think the Warriors have an opportunity to do that. And I think James Wiseman can now put his foot on the game, especially this season, because of the transition. I think it's, another person that I'm rooting for as well. And I'm just going to be honest, number 1 draft pick, Zion Williamson. Like, the anticipation of him is so high. It's so high. And the fact that he went out during a preseason game with ankle recently, ankle injury, be it minor, but really, Zion, come on now. I really want you to do it because I believe if you are on the court with the Pelicans, they can most definitely go deep in the playoffs. And you are exciting to watch. So I'm rooting to see. I like to see how he manages himself in the paint, how he goes downhill, how he, commands double teams and, he bulldozes through the people. That's exciting to watch. So he brings a brand of exciting basketball and effective basketball, but I just need for him to play it, right? So I'm rooting for him because I want him to be healthy. And I want to see what the Pelicans with him on the court can do collectively to help propel them to the playoffs. And so, Zion Williamson is somebody else that I'm rooting for.
Oh, absolutely. The anticipation is huge for Zion Williamson. But, it's unfair to him that every little injury, everybody's like, oh, man, here we go again. He's going to be out. I think it's unfair, but I think the NBA has been unfair to Lonzo Ball too. Lonzo has been unavailable for most of his career and he's out again. And it looks like the Chicago Bulls have decided to go ahead and move on. Now Io is going to get the
Yep.
opportunity. If I'm Lonzo, I'm like, oh man, I need to hurry up and get back to the
Yep.
court,
Yep.
you
I
know,
know. I know. I know.
because look, the NBA is a cold game and they'll forget about you in a heartbeat. As talented as Lonzo is, like Zion, we have not seen them consistently. And it's a shame. And I'm
It is
rooting
a
for
shame.
Lonzo
Yeah.
silently.
Yeah.
Every NBA season produces an underdog. I mean, it could be a team or a player that nobody is checking for. Maybe they've kind of flown under the radar. But
Mhm.
who is your underdog this season?
Oh my gosh, the Sacramento Kings. The Sacramento Kings from the Western Conference are most definitely my sleeper team, underdog team, however you want to word it. This is their year. They will make the playoffs. I don't care how they do it. 1 through 6 solid spot by way through the play-in tournament. They will be in the postseason this year. They haven't made it there in over a decade. It is about time. But their roster, their new coach, Mike Brown, their roster is now, I feel, is built for them to withstand have a nice standing in the regular season. And based off of how they'll be competing in the Western Conference, I think they can kind of contend. So yeah, no. My sleeper team is the most definitely the Sacramento Kings. And
I
I
abs-
have not been big on the Sacramento Kings. You can go back to videos, and the biggest eye roll I give is on the Sacramento Kings. Matter of fact, at one point I was like, can they just shut the franchise down? But whatever they've done for this upcoming season, no, I'm serious. It makes me take a step back, right? It's about how do you recover from poor decisions that have been made in the past. And now you develop a team or create a team or acquire a team that now can truly compete. And the hope of them going deep is big. And that's where I am right now. So, yeah, the Sacramento Kings are most definitely a team that I cannot wait to see what they do for this upcoming season.
Oh, absolutely. The way Malik Monk is looking in preseason, Demontis Sabonis. Oh my God, De'Aaron Fox, Davion on the defensive end.
This is what I'm saying. That Davion Mitchell, now I know it's a preseason game and I get it. I get it. But we knew coming in that Davion Mitchell has that defense. If he can now get more time to showcase that in the upcoming season, these
Shoo.
veteran players better get their legs ready. They better get their legs ready.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if that's the type of youth I'm talking about. So I understand the veterans are needed and we need them on rosters. Don't get me wrong. But they may need to start taking a look, having less minutes because the younger players are here. They fighting and they're getting it.
All right, look. My sleeper team is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Really? You think they're a sleeper team?
I do because I'm talking about there's one player in particular on the Timberwolves. Now, in the past, I have said the Timberwolves trading Patrick Beverly was going to be a detriment to their team. I don't believe that anymore. Though I still don't believe in Rudy Gobert, but I really strongly support his backup center, and that's Naz Reid. Nobody ain't
Mm.
talking about Nas Reed, but let me tell you, he's in his 4th season, 23 years old. He is a energizer bunny. The way he can run the floor, he's physical in the paint. Rudy Gobert needs to be very careful because I'm telling you, Coach Finch could easily substitute Nas Reed for Rudy Gobert and have his 38 million on the bench. Nas is totally outplaying Rudy Gobert so far. I mean, I think Nas Reed will be the starting center on any other team just because, I mean, he's young, he's athletic, and I really like him, and he's going to propel the Minnesota Timberwolves. Did not believe in the trade with Rudy Gobert. I said, oh man, they're going to Cat at the power forward and Rudy at the center. I just didn't feel like Rudy could be intimidating. But with Nas Reed backing up Rudy, I think that, I have a change of heart there. Watch out for Nas Reed on the Timberwolves.
I sure hope he gets minutes. That 38 million ain't gonna sit on the bench. It's not gonna sit on the bench. Now with this blockbuster trade they did with Rudy Gobert, it's not gonna happen. I know. We'll see, right?
Mm-hmm.